Hello, I'm Claire Jewitt, and this is the Diary of an Orange Cat. The diary entries of a thoughtful, slightly neurotic ginger cat named Weasley, written from a small harbour community in New Zealand. Last time, Weasley explained how he came to live with me. In this episode, he makes a new friend and discovers something called a man cave. And now, Weasley's diary. Before continuing with my diary entries, I feel obliged to say something about these podcasts. Mummy tells me that humans are now able to listen to my diary while walking, driving, cooking, gardening, and in some cases, doing absolutely nothing productive whatsoever. Apparently, this is normal behaviour, and quite a lot of humans enjoy listening to podcasts. I must confess I find this idea rather unsettling. When I began writing my diary, I'd imagined that it might one day be read by a small and discerning group of thoughtful individuals. Instead, it seems like practically anyone can now listen to my own private reflections. Mummy assures me that this is nothing to worry about and that people actually enjoy hearing about the lives of cats. I'm not entirely convinced. Nevertheless, I shall proceed. Today's entry concerns a baffling human institution that I discovered shortly after moving here. It's something known as a man cave. Saturday, 10th of February 2018. I got chatting today with another ginger cat who doesn't seem to have a name. He's quite skinny, and when he told me he was homeless, I felt so sorry for him that I suggested he sneak into my house and have a bite to eat from my bowl. Mummy nearly caught him, but he ran off so quickly that all she saw was an orange blur disappearing out the corner of her eye, and she thought that it must have been me. We smugly savoured the success of our ingenious deception, and I made a promise to always leave a little bit of food in my bowl for Ron. Monday, 12th of February 2018. Ron and I found a great place to hang out in the evening that's only a few doors down from my house. It's called a man cave. Evidently, it's an outside shed thing with a bar, and it's got comfy chairs, and sometimes we're even able to sneak a few tasty nibbles. Today, I found a picture of Puss in Boots, like from the movie, and I brought it to the man cave to show to Ron. Many people have said that I resemble Puss in Boots, and Ron roared with laughter at my ginger hitman impersonations tonight. After that, things got rather more serious. Ron, as usual, steered the conversation around so that we ended up talking about girls. He was boasting about all the girlfriends he's had, which is hardly surprising since he probably hangs out with that dodgy homeless crowd. I told him that I was neutered, so I didn't have to go through all the awkward embarrassment and anxiety that I've heard. It's just part and parcel of the dating scene. Ron just laughed. Then he told me about Squeak, who had apparently jumped through a plate glass window to get to a cat on heat, and had to have 5 stitches. I asked why Squeak just didn't use his cat door. Ron said, with a rather malicious sneer, that Squeak had grown too fat to fit through it. Sometimes I wonder about Ron. I've seen Squeak fairly recently, and he'd certainly put on a few extra pounds, which he shrugged off as being down to his winter coat. I didn't like to say anything, but I privately thought that by February a winter coat probably should have been shed. Even so, I didn't believe Ron's story about the window. I've never seen Squeak wearing an Elizabethan collar, and I've never seen him with any sign that he's had stitches. Also, I have it on fairly good authority that Squeak was neutered some time ago. It was getting on for midnight when Ron launched into another story he'd heard about Whittaker, a Burmese socialite whose adventures are legendary in the village. His thrilling tale was suddenly interrupted by a voice somewhere in the neighbourhood calling, "Wilbert! Here, pussy! Here, Willie! Din-dins! Come away!" Ron's ears pricked up. Then he leapt out of the door with such force that it slammed closed behind him, and I was stuck in the man cave, by myself. What if the people had gone away? I could be stuck in here for 9 days. Tuesday, 13th of February 2018. I spent a sleepless night thinking about Ron, or Willie, or Wilbur, or whatever his name is. He never even returned to see if I was all right. Wilbert is obviously an untrustworthy character who fat-shames other cats, invents non-existent sex scandals, and lies through his teeth about being homeless. What other things had I carelessly said last night that might now be circulating throughout Diamond Harbour? Thankfully, the neighbour came and fiddled around doing something in the man cave the next morning, which enabled me to escape through the open door and ran home at full speed. I hastily drained my water bowl, gobbled down my food, leaving no leftovers for Ron. I felt absolutely dreadful and have slept virtually the whole day. I'll never do that again. Mummy was furious. She'd obviously missed me terribly and had even posted my picture on the Diamond Harbour Facebook page under the heading Missing Cat. I had to wait at least 10 minutes before I got my usual cuddle and reassuring words of love and affection. I feel so betrayed. I'm not entirely sure if I can bring myself to speak to Ron again after last night. That was another story from The Diary of an Orange Cat. If you'd like to read more of Weasley's diary, the book The Woes of Weasley by Claire Jewitt is available on Amazon. Next time, Weasley becomes involved in something far more serious, a cat fight.